This is Joji Obara. If we are talking about him on our channel, you know that he is not just a simple, ordinary man. Well, he is actually a serial rapist seer who reportedly sexually assaulted around 400 women. He is mainly infamous because of his two victims in particular. Joji Obara was born on August 10, 1952 to Zainichi Korean parents in Osaka, Japan. Zainichi Korean means Koreans who have permanent residency status in Japan or have become Japanese citizens. Upon his birth, Joji Obara's Korean name was Kim Sung-jan. His father worked as a scrap collector, but over the years he eventually became an immensely wealthy owner of string of properties and pachinko parlors. Pachinko is a mechanical game that originated in Japan itself and is used as game in arcades, but most frequently used in gambling. Joji attended Tokyo private schools and received tutoring in various subjects on a daily basis. When he turned 15 years of age, he enrolled in a very prestigious prep school which was affiliated with Keio University, which basically guaranteed his acceptance into the said university. 2 years later, unfortunately his father passed away and he inherited all his properties which were in Osaka and Tokyo. He traveled extensively to get to his university every day and eventually graduated with degree in law and politics. After that he became a naturalized Japanese citizen, changing his Korean name to the name we all know him by now, Joji Obara. Joji heavily invested in real estate speculations, which actually made him millionaire real estate developer in Tokyo. He flipped properties for profit and was described by many as a playboy millionaire, reminds us of Tony Stark, but unfortunately, he became someone complete opposite of Iron Man. His crimes stem from his fetish for white women. Karita Ridgway was born on March 3, 1970. She was originally from Claremont, Perth, Western Australia. When she turned 21 years old, she decided to pursue a career in modeling to eventually become an actress in Australia. During Australia's economic recession, she was finding it difficult to save money to become an actress. So, Karita and her sister Samantha decided to move to Japan, Tokyo specifically, to make some money and see the world at large. Initially Karita decided to teach English in Japanese school as a foreign language teacher. It is very common for Japanese schools to hire foreigners to teach English. But she eventually changed her job and started working at Club Ayakoji, a hostess bar in Ginza. She decided to work here because it paid well and also allowed her sightseeing. A hostess bar is a type of nightclub that primarily employs female staff who typically act as a modern geisha performer who entertain the men by engaging them in conversation, lighting their cigarettes, singing karaoke or dancing. On 1992, Karita met Joji on one such night when she was working as a hostess. When everyone at the bar left and Joji was alone with Karita, he offered her a lift to her home in car, which clearly is one massive red flag: never get into a stranger's vehicle. Sadly, Karita agreed to Joji's offer and got into his car. Joji then proceeded to drug her with a dose of chloroform and sexually assaulted her. Joji actually had no intention of ending her life that night, he accidentally used too much dosage of chloroform. Joji dropped Karita at a Tokyo hospital who was in an urgent need of medical attention. Joji used a fake name at hospital Nishita and told doctors that Karita had suffered a bad reaction to shellfish and that she had food poisoning and left quickly. No one at the hospital suspected any foul play, but Samantha felt something was wrong. When Samantha reached hospital to see her sister, she asked what exactly happened and who was this Nishita guy. But Karita could not say anything and just wanted her hand to be held by her sister. Unfortunately, Karita's condition kept degrading and she was transferred to second medical facility. While there, she suffered from liver failure and was later declared brain dead. Samantha with a heavy heart decided to turn off the life support and let her sister pass away peacefully. According to the reports, the Ridgway family requested an investigation on the Nishita guy, but their request was both rejected by Tokyo police and Australian embassy. The circumstances of Kurita's death were initially unclear and hospital initially listed her death as hepatitis E, and no further investigation took place after that. Years later, during the investigation of Lucy Blackwell case, police found a notebook that was found in Joji's residence. Written on it was an entry on 1992 that said, "Kurita Ridgway, too much chloroform." Police also recovered videotapes that Joji made which showed him sexually assaulting Kurita while she was unconscious. It was then that the truth came to light and Kurita's case was turned to a homicide case. Now this brings us to Joji's second victim, Lucy Blackwell. Lucy Jane Blackman was born on September 1, 1978, in Sevenoaks, Kent in southeast England. Lucy initially worked as a British Airways flight attendant, but eventually changed her job to being a hostess in Japan. That is because she and her friend Louise Phillips decided to ditch their jobs and see the world. Lucy and her friend went to Japan seeking new experiences and also earned some money to repay her debts. In May of 2000, Lucy arrived at Tokyo and started working in Tokyo's entertainment district, more specifically, at Casablanca, a nightclub later known as Greengrass, in Roppongi. They served drinks and did general hostessing duties which were part of the girls' job, which also required for them to go on paid dates every month. On July 1, 2000, Lucy went out on a date with a paying customer. That day, she vanished, but before vanishing she told a friend that she was going for a drive to the seaside with a man. Her disappearance led to the launch of Global Missing Persons campaign to find her. Following the disappearance, Tim Blackman, Lucy's dad, received a call informing him that his daughter has gone missing in Japan. Tim and Lucy's sister Sophie immediately traveled to Tokyo in order to find Lucy and began speaking with both Japanese and British media in hopes to get her face out in the news cycle. After a day of her disappearance, Louise received a call from a man who claimed to be Akira Takagi, and he told her that Lucy had joined a cult and was undergoing training, and also that she would never see her friend again. 12 days after the disappearance, around 30,000 missing posters were distributed around Tokyo. Police knew that Lucy had went on a paid date with a customer. Initially police thought that there was no cause for concern and even suggested that maybe Lucy ran away with a new boyfriend, as it was apparently common among hostesses. Tim wanted direct answers from the Japanese police, but the officials had a different way of going about things, and would say their investigations were underway and not to be disclosed. It was obvious that there was cultural and communication barrier. Foreign Secretary at the time, Robin Cook, who was in Tokyo for a summit, began to help. The family even met with then Prime Minister, Tony Blair, while in Japan, who promised he would raise awareness of the matter with the Japanese Prime Minister. During this time, Tim and Sophie opened up a confidential hotline in Tokyo run by expatriates for people who had info on the case but were scared to go to the police. A £9,500 reward was offered by the family for the return of their daughter, which was then increased to £100,000 by an anonymous businessman. Tim was fearful that enough wasn't being done to find his daughter, therefore why he did so many press conferences and spoke to the media. Exactly 1 month after her disappearance, Tokyo police received a letter from someone professing to be Lucy. It read, "I am doing what I want, so please leave me alone." However, the detectives and the Blackman family dismissed it as false, that she would never send a letter like this. 15 days after the letter, police interviewed a suspect, but he had a strong alibi. Months into investigation led to a new lead. There had been reports of a serial sexual assaulter, particularly a sexual predator who had been targeting hostesses on paid dates. Tim's effort with the media paid off as 3 foreign women came forward to describe waking up sore and sick after going on a date with a certain man. This man was identified to be Joji Obara. Each woman said that they woke up in Joji's bed and they did not remember anything that happened at night. Several had reported him to Roppongi police, but the cases were not properly investigated, but some cases could not even be reported as foreign hostesses working in Tokyo were at risk. If they went to the police about their victimization, they could then be arrested for violating their visa and working hours. Following this, Joji became the lead suspect in Lucy's case. After being questioned by the police, he admitted to meeting with her and having drinks, but he denied any other involvement. Then on February 9, 2001, police find some severed body parts, which included a head. The remains were found buried in a shallow grave under a bathtub in a seaside cave at Miura, Kanagawa. The location was just 1 hour outside of Tokyo but also a few hundred meters from one of Joji's properties. The police had actually searched this area months before but not as extensively, hence at the time they found nothing, but the second time around they enlisted the help of sniffer dogs and ground imaging radar. The body had been cut into 10 pieces and put inside separate bags, head shaved and encased in concrete. The body was too decomposed to show the cause of death. Using dental records, police confirmed the identity of the remains as those of Lucy Blackman, bringing her family's 7-month search to a shattering end on February 10. April 6, Joji was finally arrested and charged with murder of Lucy. Upon searching his properties, police found hundreds of videos of Obara sexually assaulting women, although they did not find any video evidence related to Lucy. He also had a diary that the police recovered. In one passage, he wrote about deciding to dedicate himself to becoming evil. Sadly, due to the complexities of the Japanese judicial process, the trial didn't reach its climax until 2007, 6 years after Lucy initially went missing. Shockingly, Joji was cleared of Lucy's manslaughter due to insufficient evidence, but was convicted of 8 sexual assaults and the death of Karita Ridgway. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, in 2008, after a trial appeal, Tokyo High Court ruled that Obara was guilty of the abduction, dismemberment and disposal of Lucy's body. Obara's appeal was also rejected in December 2010, which meant his life sentence would remain. Tim is glad to get legal justice for both his daughter and Karita Ridgway, and the additional victims of sexual assault. And every year, the superintendent who worked on the case visits the seaside cave where Lucy's body was found and prays and does a smoking ceremony. As for Lucy's remains, she is now resting in her own home country.